Hey guys, OJ here. Going to be doing this quick review on the Stax L700, which is what you see here. And I have to say, the quick and dirty is that these impressed me immensely. As you can see, they are quite something to behold. These Stax Lambdas have that look. They look nice. It's all plastic, but it's a nice looking headphone. It's certainly unique, and I think people will like it. Comfort's great. I love the comfort. These are more comfortable than I remember the Stax 307, which I'll get into more in a bit. But yeah, these are much more comfortable for me than the Stax 307 for whatever reason. Coming from the 307, I remember I came in with relatively low expectations for these because they are just slightly, this 307 were just not that great, and they had some certain tonal issues and other issues that turned me off from them. But these L700s are a different beast, and goes to show that even what is presumably what Stax are doing, presumably minor tweaks in their Lambda line, do make a difference. I wish I had a direct comparison to a few of the Stax phones, but these are different than the 307 or the rest of the Lambdas for that matter. The Stax L700 is a relatively neutral sound. I think this headphone's best characteristic is its very smooth, very clean mid-range, or at least upper mid-range to treble, just smoothness, articulation, and just a good sound. It's just well balanced. I would go for these for someone who's a stickler for tonal issues. I think if you're certain people who are on the Discord and always complaining about, oh, this is too bright, this is too warm, blah blah blah, I think you should try these because I think they really do strike a sweet spot, and the very smooth Stax texture, if you will, helps things be more palatable. So I think people should let's check it out for that if you're into that. So yeah, I mean everything from that to mids up, well balanced, well done by Stax. Stax sticks to their sound, and they're pretty good. They're pretty good at tuning headphones, I think. When you get down to the bass is not disappointing because it's not there, or because it's distorted or anything like certain other headphones, right? The bass was disappointing for me because it was just kind of thuddy. It lacked what some people call like a pitch differentiation. All the bass tones sound the same, almost one note bass, although that has a different connotation. It's just not, particularly fast, if you will, in the bass. It's just not fast and dynamic, so I didn't like that at all about the bass. The bass is the weakest part of these, but not for what you think, because you'd be like, oh, Electrostats have no bass. These have bass. I'm sure the measurements will reveal them to be very well extended in that bass, but it's just not particularly good sounding bass. So I didn't really like that about the Stax. So I don't think bass heads will dig on this sound. Other than that, my other biggest complaint, probably the lack of, and I'm surprised by this, but the lack of soundstage width and presence and ability, period. Spatially, these aren't that great, Yeah, I was expecting much wider. Something like a HD100 destroys it, really, in terms of soundstage width. So that was very strange. I wasn't expecting that, but that was one of the big weaknesses I felt. Other than that, overall transparency and resolving abilities are intermediately. I think they're pretty good. They're pretty damn good. They're pretty damn better than a lot of stuff. I think people are going to like these and think, oh man, these are detailed, right? And I do think they're detailed, and I do think they're they have good articulation, and you hear a lot of stuff, right? These aren't on the level of the HD800. Yes, that's right. You heard me. These are not resolving as the HD800. But in all seriousness, these are transparent enough to at least tell the difference between different amps. So right now I'm listening to the SRD7 into different power amps. Right now I have the Mjolnir hooked up. Mjolnir was my top choice as a power amp for these. I also tried the Parasound Z amp and the Crest CA2, which I have lying around. I usually use them for speakers, but I figured, hey, I can try it with a headphone now. You can hear what's going on. The Crest CA2 was just too murky and unarticulate, really. Just didn't do this guy any favors. Mjolnir kicked some life into it and made things dynamic. It played to help compensate what I believe are the Stax weaknesses, which is the compression and the lack of full-fledged, full-swinging dynamics that I miss when I listen to a Stax as opposed to an HD800, or a good speaker rig for that matter. But I think these are good enough to tell you what's going on upstream in your rig, so that's a good thing. That's always a good thing for me. If you want something that's just gonna warm shit up and make things nice and dull, the Stax is not your headphone, but there is a certain forgivingness to it, and it's not going to emphasize flaws beyond what they are, so to speak, right? But it's not going to tell you everything. So I think it strikes a good, like I said, good balance. Stax balances their sound very well, and they know what they're doing there. Other than that, I think as a value proposition, my other value electrostat that comes to mind is that ESP950 right there. And these are better than the ESP950, just about everywhere. The ESP950 is just not as controlled, not as tight, not as extended in the treble and articulate. So these beat the ESP950 for me. So they beat my current electrostat reference, if you will. So that's really nice to hear. ESP950 can be had for around $600, so that's a good value as long as I think the stock amp is not worth listening to. I think you guys should try an SRD7. Just get an adapter. But these, so ESP950 $600, these at about $1,000. I'm not sure how much you could find them for, depending on how the currency exchange is feeling that day. But overall, for around $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, these are a good buy. I think if you are a eStat guru, this could be a part of your arsenal and is a useful headphone for just listening enjoyment and as a reference. That's about all I have to say. So thanks for watching and have a good one.